Are you enjoying the weather? Isn't it nice? Well, as starting off today, because it's Mother's Day, I thought it might be fitting to have a nice story. And so this young guy is a repairman come to the house, and he's one of those guys, you know, that the women all want to look at, admire, drool over, and so on. And the young man, the son of the household, opens the door, and he comes in and tells him where the repair needs to be done. And he walks past this picture in the living room, one of those glamour shot things, you know, of this beautiful young woman who just takes his breath away. And he stops. His name is, well, it doesn't matter what his name is. He says, "Who in the world is that?" The young man's name is Joshua, and he says, "Well, that's my mom." He says, "Wow, my mom doesn't look anything like that." Joshua replied, "Yeah, well, neither does mine." Makeup and cameras can do wonderful things. I'm sure glad you guys have all shown up. We've got a great agenda for you today. Let's ask the Lord's blessing as we start. Father, I thank you for your grace. Wow, where would we be without forgiveness? And we ask that you would continue to remind us to be gracious to those around us as well. And as we look at the things that are going on here at DRV, the exciting things, the new things, the things that we've kind of got accustomed to, would you help us to be willing to ask the right questions at the right time so that people can really flesh out what other people are wondering as well. And for all that you do today, enjoy our time together as we laugh together and learn new things together. And all this we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Hello. Hello.
You want us to jack the stage up a little?
Yeah, that'd be good. How do I move this? Oh, wait. Maybe I should go first just to get the shortness out. Thank you. Okay, hello. I'm here to give you guys an update on the Spring Into Wellness program. I know we have a lot of participants, and as of tomorrow, we are halfway through. Woo! Woo! So to celebrate, tomorrow at 3:30 in here, we're going to have a social to encourage each other to keep up the good work and get through the second half of the program. So we've been doing this for 6 weeks, and you can get a punch. I'm sure these are familiar to most of you guys. You can get a punch on these cards by coming to exercise class, eating heart-healthy menu items, using the exercise equipment. Pretty much any positive wellness choice you make, you can get a punch. And so far, we have had 29 participants that have turned in a card to me. So, how many punch cards do you guys think I have had turned in? We have 29 people doing this. People have turned in more than one. Any guesses? Tracy says 73. 93. Oh my. 93. 65. Okay, drum roll. How many cards? 67. Dawn, you were close. I don't have the prizes yet. Okay, so we have 67 punch cards turned in, and we're only halfway through, so I wonder how much we're going to have by the end of this. And it's not too late to join, so if you're interested, let me know, and I can get you a card and explain what it's all about, and you're going to add to our total. So for the rest of this month, next Thursday the 16th, I'm going to be doing another demo. So remember the smoothie making in March? Yeah. Yeah, so that was so much fun. I thought I better get up here again and do another demo. So we're going to do some healthy snack making. And Thursday the 23rd, the registered dietitian that came, she's coming again, and she's going to talk about nutrition. And the last Thursday of this month, on the 31st, we're going to watch a TED Talk video about the relationship between exercise and brain health. So that'll be interesting. So all of these are at 3:30 on Thursdays in here, and if you come to any of these, you'll get a punch on your card, and we're going to get more cards. Another reminder, so kind of our finale, if you would like to be involved, on June 21st from 7 to 9 p.m., we're taking a bus to Minto Brown Park in Salem. They're having a 5K that's held on a summer solstice. And we have a few people signed up, but we'd like to have a lot more. We're going to be taking the bus there. So if you want to participate, come see me after town hall and we'll get you signed up. The spaces are limited, so don't wait till the last minute or else you might be out of luck. And if you have any wellness or exercise questions, let me know. And then I'm just going to mention a quick announcement from Lori. So our Hats Off to Women event is this Friday and the reservations are full. So if you need to cancel your reservation, please let Lori know or the front desk. And we look forward to seeing you all there, and it's going to be very fun. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Before I forget, Larissa just reminded me to put a mention in for Mother's Day brunch. We're asking for reservations to be made, so if you would like to come and enjoy the brunch this coming Sunday for Mother's Day, we have a great menu planned, but it would really help us to have reservations ahead of time. Bert, you know, as you all know, she puts a lot of energy and effort into decorating up that dining room, and she wants everything to be just perfect, and she doesn't want anyone to be disappointed, especially if you bring in, you know, a large group of people and we're not quite ready for you. So if you'd like to make reservations, please let Larissa or Bert know. So first of all, one of the first things I want to talk about today is basically what we're calling community dining. And the reason that we've put a term to this is a topic that's come up during the last weeks and months as the Timber Grill especially gets busier and busier and more crowded, especially during peak times. We have folks asking us about policies, you know, who can dine here, who from the community, who, you know, if you're not a resident, are you welcome to dine here? And some folks mention too that they see a lot of unfamiliar faces. So those are the folks we're referring to sometimes as community, that are part of that community dining thing. And I just want to let you know that we are having discussions with various resident groups, and this is something that we're talking about, taking into consideration, and over the next weeks and months, you'll be hearing more about exactly what our policies are and how we do manage now. Say reservations coming from non-residents, for instance, and how we plan to manage that in the future. So the two things that I wanted to talk about today are regarding two changes that we're making to our dining program. One change involves the entire program, and one change is specific to the Village Apartments Fireside Commons venue. So in the Fireside Commons, one of the things that we've, after looking at some of our statistics and data on what is sold most frequently off of our menus, the vast majority of items that we sell, over 91%, are our daily specials. And so we've decided to really focus on those specials, and for the sake of efficiency, we're going to replace the current format, which is 1 daily special and 1 weekly special. We're going to be replacing that starting next month with 3 daily specials, and they change every day. We hope that this is a good change for folks. We feel that, you know, all statistics and all of the input and, you know, all of the discussions we've had with different resident groups have kind of led us to this point. And we plan to make that change. I think we're starting June 1st, but don't quote me on that. Next week, with the next issue of the Looking Ahead, I'll send out something that has more information about that and the exact date that we will be implementing that over there. The next change that we're making, this also is coming out of a lot of those discussions of the community dining. We're going to be adding a facility, basically what amounts to a facility fee for non-resident dining. So basically, anybody who isn't a resident isn't going to be getting the lower pricing that we try to keep our menu pricing at specifically for residents. So folks from the community, anyone who's not a resident, is going to be, when they eat in any of our venues, there will be an additional fee. Like I said, we're calling it a facility fee because it's really a charge for using our facility. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to read on your check yet. Did we talk about that? I don't think that we know exactly yet how it's going to read on the receipt from the dining rooms. But when I send out that letter next week, I'll have more information specifically on there about that. And that's all I have today. Yes?
Are you gonna have different price points on the 3 specials? Or is it all one price?
The format, so Ron was asking if the 3 specials were gonna have all the same price point as now. The format for the menu is that every day one of the specials is a sandwich or something very similar to a sandwich. You know, a little less complicated than the other 2 items. So the two of the entree items will be $6.50, and then that 3rd item will be $6. And actually, we're adding additional sides with it, so we're actually enhancing the menu in that way too. And there will be a lot of sides to choose from. So, yes.
My question was, non-resident, you're not talking about family.
Anybody who isn't a resident, yes.
Even our guests that travel.
Correct. Yes.
If I'm using my card to pay for someone, is it still gonna be my card?
It would, yes. Any resident, any non-resident meal. Okay, thank you, everybody. I know, do I need to make this taller now? Can you hear me? Everybody can hear me okay? Can you hear me better now?
Yep.
Okay. Hi. We are going to continue on the theme of getting to know some of our resident services team members. That's not wrong. That's your name. Did I spell it wrong? She's giving me a hard time. Don't do that to me. This is Bev, and I'm sure you all know Bev, but I want you to get to know her a little better. So here's some things about Bev you may not know. She was born in Dallas, Oregon, but raised in a farm out in Falls City. She's been working hard her whole life, including picking berries and beans when she was 12 years old. This is cool. She went to Chemeketa Community College, where she was certified as an emergency medical technician, and you'll know that is an EMT. And she volunteered at the Falls City Fire Department for 34 years. Yes, yeah. She began working here at Dallas Retirement Village on May 2nd in 1994, while also working full-time at the SAFE Corporation. Yes, yeah. She's impressive, isn't she? Yes, she is. She retired from SAFE Corporation in 2012 after 39 years of service. Talk about dedicated, right? Carolyn Buchanan wasn't able to join us again this month, but I asked her to say a few words about Bev. She's worked with her for a lot of those 25 years. And she says, if there's one word to describe Bev, it's stability. But since we have more words to choose from, then I'll add dependability, care, sincere, faithful, trustworthy, honest, problem solver, hard worker, supportive, resident advocate, protector, and humble. She has given 2 decades plus to DRV's independent living, and she has made such a big impact on this community. In her time here, she has brought security, understanding, safety, cleanliness, and loving support to countless residents. She's a team player, and she's a great leader as she trains new staff. Her only complaint is that we don't have 2 of her. So,
I don't know if you can stand up.
you know, we can handle it. And I don't know if you've done the math, but if she started in 1994, that means that this month she is celebrating 25 years at Dallas Retirement Village. Put the picture up there too. So this is her 25 years of service pin. We're very proud to pin that on there today. What an accomplishment.
Sure.
You want to wave?
I do want to thank everybody here at DRV because it's been a great experience working here, and I enjoy my residents, and sometimes I'm a little bit of a jokester, and I always say, I always looking to cause trouble, so I'm just teasing, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Pretty amazing. Okay, it's barbecue season. Woo, the sun is out. Yes, we have barbecues. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that. If you want to reserve a barbecue in the lodge courtyard, how you can go about doing that. You actually just need to call the front desk, and we can reserve the barbecue for whatever time it is you want to use it. And we'll make sure to get it ready for you, the gas turned on and ready to go. So you can pick up a special steak at the grocery store and gather your friends and have a fun time out in that courtyard. So it's in our room booking system, if you've heard of that, and you just plug that in at what date and time you want to use it. Pretty simple. So yeah, you're gonna have a group get together and barbecue. Any barbecuers out there? Anybody like to? Lane raises his hand. Lane will have the first party, and we'll. That's all I wanted to tell you today. Uh-huh.
Who cleans the barbecue? They're
You guys
Yes,
do.
we do.
Okay. Was that a trick question? Yes, when you're all done. So the room booking is really cool. It says, you know, the party starts at this time and you're going to be done at this time. And at the end, when the party closes, it sends out a work request, you've heard that term, to the facility ops team, and they'll come out and get that barbecue cleaned, shut off, and ready for the next person. Pretty neat.
I don't need them for this one. I just have to pay attention more. Hey everybody, how are you? I'm gonna walk around a little bit. So, how many married gentlemen in this room are married to a wonderful, fantastic, talented, beautiful woman? And if you don't have your hand in the air, gentlemen, I don't want to be in your house later. There we go. Good job, Dave. Way to card along. 2 hands for Mr. Lockwood. Very good. Well, I happen to be married to a very talented and lovely person as well. And my wife has recently accepted an opportunity in Central Oregon to join another nonprofit organization like the one that she currently works for, and go there to create the services that she's done in multiple counties in this area. So they're a bit underserved in the Central Oregon area, and this new organization is very ambitious about spreading what she's done here. My wife actually has been at the very beginning of this initiative about 6 years ago. So she's made a lot of connections with people, and her career just kind of took off. So she took off, and I better follow, or I'm staying home. So actually, I'm not staying home because the house is getting sold too. So that means I'm moving on, folks. I'm going to be leaving Dallas Retirement Village here in a few months, and it's been a great time. I really enjoyed the opportunity to be here and serve. But, you know, you got to go where life takes you. And it's a great time of our lives. We, as most of you know, I have a young daughter who just went off to college last year. So we're entering that empty nest phase of our lives and not a lot of obligation. And it's a time of choice. And maybe try something new and different. So here we go, off on an adventure. So it'll be great because neither one of us has ever left the valley. We've always lived in the Willamette Valley our entire lives. So we vacation there a lot. We like the area. It's just one of those things that came up, and it was a great opportunity. And she's going to bring a lot of joy and opportunity further to people in their lives. So I'm going to go there and support that. So
Where are you going?
huh?
Where?
Central Oregon?
Yeah, where?
Central Oregon. Well, we haven't bought anything there yet, so my wife's office will be in Bend, and she'll do a lot of satellite work around the other communities, Prineville, and everything out around Bend. So we're looking where we're going to land. Bend's pricey, let me tell you. So we're shopping, but we're not sure exactly which area we're going to land, but probably not far from that. So that's the plan. So another few months, I think I talked to Dave, we're looking at somewhere near the end of June, probably. So we have a house to sell. My wife begins her new position on the 31st of this month. So we are working toward getting our lives transferred over there, but I'm still here for now. So, and I know Dave and the rest of the leadership team are working hard on recruiting and finding a new person for the position. So I'm sure they're going to find something terrific. But it's been a joy. So that's all I got right now. But you'll see me a few more times up here. So thank you, everybody.
I'm just here to share a little information about the marketing team, which there's not a lot currently of new residents. We've had a couple of move-outs recently, so be watching over the next 2 weeks. You'll see some new neighbors showing up. So that's something that's upcoming. I'm here to talk about the What Is It? So last month, do we have a picture of last month? Hannah, I don't know. It was Hannah and Jan Heck found it. So it was the horse's tail in the library. So are you all having fun with the What Is It? Yeah, a lot of people come and make guesses, so it's really fun. So this year, this time, we have something new. So that's kind of interesting. If you know or want to make a guess, just stop by either Tanya or I's office or at the front desk and let Hannah or Tracy know, and we'll confirm you're right. And if you are, we'll get your picture, and you'll be posted up here next time. So, thanks.
Well, hello.
gals. I'm Michelle Johnstone. I'm the school district superintendent for Dallas Schools. I want to start this off by saying, how many of you are retired educators in this room? Retired educators. Raise those hands. Awesome. That's teachers, bus drivers, classroom assistants. Okay, let's see. How many of you are related to someone who's in education? Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm excited to be here and I appreciate the opportunity to share great stuff that's happening in Dallas School District. If you're not familiar with the district, we have about 3,200 students, we have 6 schools, and we have 2 charter schools. And I brought additional information because I know that I've been having quarterly coffees at DRV for the last 4 years. Tomorrow is our quarterly coffee, so if you leave here today and go, I wish I would have asked, we'll be out here at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. I love getting the opportunity to just come and answer questions, and many of you read the newspaper and have follow-up questions or just generating questions on your side conversation, and that's a great time to just hit me with them. You can, at any time, let me know that you have questions as well. One of the other hats that I wear that I'm very proud of is, for about the last year, I've been able to serve on Dallas Retirement Village Board as well. And so Dave knows exactly how to get a hold of me if you have any other questions that you want to know more about. So for the school district, I want to start off with just sharing with you, we have an amazing school board. We have 5 gentlemen that serve, and they do an incredible job all the time. And that's where Dallas School District is doing really well, because we start with amazing leadership. On the back table, I brought you a picture of those guys, but I also brought you goals. So one of the pieces that you guys that have had coffee with me started 4 years ago saying was, Michelle, we really think we want to see more in career and technical education brought back to our schools and community. We all have really great ideas on what kids should know and be able to do. And you're hearing and watching what you think, what you have, what you want to see happening in schools. And so thank you for that opinion, because those pieces are used then as we craft a well-rounded education for our kids. We've been too long looking at math and reading only. And so our board and our district is really wrapping around looking at academics, looking at social emotional, as well as looking at professional technical. And our CTE program has grown from about 250 kids up to about 550 kids that are participating, and we continue to increase the opportunities in partnership with Chemeketa as well. And so we're very proud of what's happening in Dallas for our kids and the opportunities there. Some of you were able to come to Robot Crazy, our first event here where our middle school kids came in. They are doing so much really that creative problem solving, trying to figure things out. And they're expanding and including other folks in the community, and really, we're calling it Innovate Dallas. Well, our next one is coming up, and I brought you the information on the 18th, so in this room. So if you get a chance to, come see. You won't break anything, I promise. I've already tried to break it, so I know that it's replayable when you get in there and try and make things move, but we're super excited, and so that's on the back table as well. And then I also just brought a copy of our school goals and what we're working on currently in terms of trying to really hit that next level with kids and really figuring out how do we wrap them in services and supports, as well as continue to make sure that we're doing everything to equip them for their future and the future that they choose to go into. So I just want to take a minute and open up questions, because I know this group and you tend to have more questions. So is there something you'd like to know about the school district? Yes, sir.
The number of students each year, are we growing, stable, increasing?
So we're in a funny spot right now. I say that because we've been declining enrollment for several years, and this last year we started with 136 students additional that we didn't see coming, quite honestly. And I think it has a lot to do with the building. In our community, we have about 900 homes that are being built over the next few years. And so we're starting to see that, but we don't have any way to gather that information before it happens. So we'll see this next year. So I would say we were one way, and now with all of the growth, I'm hoping we continue to grow. Anybody else? Question? You know what? That varies from year to year. This group of seniors coming in, I'm in the process of reviewing applications and for scholarships along with our team. So I don't have an exact percentage for you, but again, it varies year to year. This group I have will probably be an all-time high, just judging by what they're doing. And part of what we're trying to do too is help them with our partnership with Shemeketa. Allows kids to go in and still grab credits at the high school level, so that they can either go into the workforce, transfer into a four-year college, or finish up at Shemeketa. And so that can play an influence as well on the numbers of kids that are going on to college. That's a great question. I can get it for you. Yes, sir.
Are there any concerns regarding budget financing?
That's a loaded question. How much time do you have? So you'll see initiatives that are coming out to increase. This is my 4th year superintendent here, coming from Colorado, and I've been a little bit surprised by the lack of funding that's happening for Oregon. So each year we see, there's the one big pie of dollars in our state, and each year we see our percentage that's dedicated to education decreasing. This year we're sitting at about 39%. We anticipate dropping into 38%, which at the same time then for school districts, you see a lot of the concerns ratcheting up around mental health and really creating opportunities to support kiddos. And so there's a pretty big pressure rub that's happening. Some of the things that hurt for budget, we're still trying to come out of what happened on the last recession. But to give you an example, it would be amazing to have music consistently across all of our buildings, and we don't. Our 4-5 schools still doesn't have music, but we have it in our K-3s, we have it middle school, high school. We don't have art across the board. They don't get to pick up art until they hit middle school. And so there are some really great opportunities where we know that kids aren't just strong in reading and math, but there are artists or musicians that will show great aptitude for it in younger ages, and we don't have the ability to meet that need at this point in time. And so our budget is definitely stretched thin. Last year for our school district, because of the declining enrollment, we cut our budget $1.6 million. And so it doesn't help us continue to push forward without the additional dollars. So you will see, and likely hearing in the newspaper about legislative push to get some additional funding in schools, and it's much needed.
You were here today when Washington and Oregon from education out on site.
And so here's the piece I want. It's not, so yes, they are in picketing, but it's a little different for us than a strike. One of the things they're trying to send a clear message to is to Oregon legislators to say we need to adequately fund our schools. So the picketing today on the Capitol and really pushing forward has nothing to do with teacher salaries, or it has to do with we need to fund schools better so we can better meet the needs of our kids. And so it's a global push to try and get support for our kids. And so yes, our district is closed today. We were fortunate enough to say our teachers collectively voted to move our budget reduction day, because we had to cut the $1.6 million. We had one scheduled for May 3rd, and so they said, we really want to participate in this day. Can we move from May 3rd to May 8th? And we said, that makes sense. So, yeah. They're putting kiddos first. Other questions? Okay, well, I'm here again at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, right out here for coffee. Would love to see some of you guys. I love seeing my returning group that's always very well read and ready to ask questions. And I will get the information for you so you can look at how many kids go on to college each year. Okay. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Michelle. She's been a wonderful addition to our board, and we just love our relationship we have with high schools and the elementary schools. We actually do several things with them, as she was talking about, doing some fun robot and other kind of educational things the students are involved in. So if any of you, some of you may already be involved in some of the different programs and volunteer opportunities, but certainly if you are interested in that, the children are really pretty cool, and they do a wonderful job. So,
Addition or replacement?
to replace or addition,
Is she an additional board member or replacement?
well, there are terms on our board, and so when one term is done, then she came on. So she's
Very sometimes.
yeah, she's been a great addition to our board. Wanted to also just talk to you briefly about safety and security. Apologize, I'm starting to get a little bit of a tickle in my throat, so I'm going to stay away from people, but I'm starting to feel, so if my voice is not doing well, I apologize about that. We have had some, as I'm sure many of you know, it's one of the things that moves fast is things that happen around the community. And so I think a couple weekends ago, we had some activity by a couple of our younger people in the community. They're not part of the school system there. But a couple of boys, or 2 or 3 boys, had come in and kind of tried to create a little bit of mischief here. They turned on the water in the bathrooms and tried to plug up the sink so that it would overflow and things like that. And so I was saying, I don't know if Bev's still here, but she should also be receiving another award for she's fast. Because she tracked them down as they were kind of running out. She cut them off and had a short conversation with them. And we are certainly, I don't think there was any major issues there, other than I think they were just trying to cause havoc, I guess, a little bit. And so I wanted to just bring to your attention, I know we had some conversation, we talked with our joint councils about this conversation. It is something that we have always, in all the years I've been here, we certainly always take safety and security measures that we do to try to make sure we keep you safe. There's always a kind of a balance between how much security and how much freedom do you have there. So we're not certainly looking to put bars on windows and so forth. We've talked about having the ability to have kind of like gates around the community. Fortunately, we have 5. Most of those entrances could not actually receive a gate because there are certain setback requirements and so forth. So we don't expect that we're going to be able to become a gated community in that regard. But it's something that obviously Larry and his team are constantly, we're all always aware of. So in response to this, again, I think for over the years I've been here, we've had very few incidences where we've had any kind of damage or any kind of people that are unwanted here doing things that are bad. I'm not aware of ever having a break-in to a home. We had, I think, probably 10, 12 years ago, we had one car, an employee car that was broken into. But virtually over that time, what am I catching? Oh, a cough drop.
It went under Bev's chair. That your feet.
Okay. Thank you. I wasn't quite sure what term was going to be thrown at me, so anyway, just to kind of repeat, we are working with residents and also with our staff, just kind of making sure that are there some things that we can do in the community to just kind of make sure that we're vigilant in all things at the same time, not create a situation that makes it unwelcoming to our guests and all of you. So I don't have any responses or right answers at this point. I just wanted to make sure that everyone's aware that we're kind of looking at those things, and I think that while we don't believe that there needs to be any an overreaction or any significant changes, we do certainly gives us another chance to kind of look at the whole community and campus and where everything is done. Technology continues to be advancing quickly, and so the ability for us, as we already have now, doors where you can go in and out as you want with either a punch code or a card. That's a pretty easy way to secure the doors in the building. So we want to be looking at that as well. Any questions on that I can?
Yeah, all the streets within the community, are they all private or are some of these public?
There's only one kind of public street in our community, and that's the Tilgner and Brentwood. It's up where I think it's townhome 7 through 15 are at. That area, there is a public street that goes between that and our property. All the other streets that are internal are private. We have signs up that restrict people coming through as far as, bicycles and skateboards and things of this sort. And, again, I think we've noticed, I think Larry had mentioned this as well, is because there's homes behind us and the city is this way, we do get some traffic. We get a fair amount of traffic that people walk through, and 99% of them are very respectful, and so certainly we welcome people. We want to be part of this community and be open, but when we see things that are happening that are obviously not in our best interest, then we ask all of you, if you see something or some kids that just look like they don't belong, or people or anybody that just kind of hanging around and kind of watching things, please contact our front desk, make sure that they're aware of it. It most likely is not an issue, but certainly it's always kind of good to be quick to respond to those things. And we've talked to the police as well, and they're very responsive, and so they will also, if we feel like there's a certain activity, they will do some patrols around to make sure that that's better.
They have done patrols around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they recognize, and that's been great, good, wonderful relationship with our police and our other agencies. So. They were what? They're speeding? Yeah, that is kind of unfortunately, that area there is, sometimes people go a little quick. So we've talked to see, we'd love to be able to take that property off the city's hands and make that private, but I don't unfortunately think that's going to happen anytime soon. So there's a lot of traffic, a lot of homes up there that they like to use that area. So, yes.
Do we presently have a night watchman or someone on duty at night?
Not specifically for that. We have staff that are here 24 hours. We also have maintenance, I think, has evening hours as well. But at this point, we have not really found that to be an issue. I think, again, we continually look at that, and if we feel like there's activity picking up, then that's something that we certainly would do. But fortunately, at this point, we've been pretty low, very low as far as crime and activity there. So, yes.
What's happening about the smoke alarm? If your smoke alarm goes off in the middle of the night, what do you do?
Larry's walking to the front, so that indicates that he has an answer.
You would contact the front desk right away, who would call the on-call maintenance person, which at that hour is me, Monday to Thursday, and I'll come and take care of your smoke alarm. So, another side note with that too, just to let everyone know, we are beginning the process of changing out smoke detector batteries, CO2 detector batteries, our annual filter cleaning of the garden homes. We'll also be changing all of the batteries in the electronic locks in the resident apartments in the lodge. So that process is beginning this month. It takes us usually 4 or 5 weeks to get through everything, but we are hitting all of our locations this year in everyone's home. So.
I do want to make sure that I answer one of the questions, or a couple questions that came to me this week, as I had requested. This was brought forward by, I would assume this is someone from the Garden Homes. The question is, are the Garden Homes getting bark dust this year? And the answer to that is yes. We don't have an exact date at this point, but Larry says it is going to be within a few weeks, or probably 1st of June, somewhere around that time. So that is happening. Also, another question came up about some plants around the Garden Homes or anywhere on the campus. If you see a plant or see some plants that look like they need a little attention, please, don't wait to bring it here. You're happy to contact actually the front desk or landscaping, and they will certainly come and look at those things. They try to do that, but as you can imagine, it's a very large campus, and some of the people, when they're out there working, they're focused on certain things, and they may not see what you see. So it's always a good idea just to bring that to our attention, and we'll take a look at that. Okay, I know we're a little past 2:45. I'm going to ask if there's one more great question or good question or okay question. Yeah.
That's a great, so Dot's question was, now that we've cleaned the windows, and we're now moving forward with bark dust, historically we've seen some issues with them getting on the streets and everything. So we're gonna be doing it a little differently this year. Instead of the one-day mass blow-in of bark dust all around the campus, we're going to be hand spreading this year. So we're gonna do it'll take us a little longer, but we're confident we're gonna get a much nicer look. It's less expensive to do it this way too, and we're just going to get all facility operations involved, and we'll get it knocked out. But the whole campus will get bark dusted. It keeps the mess and the dust to a minimum, so no window issues, screen issues, nothing getting into people's heaters or AC units. Just going to do it a little bit more calmly. So that one-day thing is great because it gets it all done fast, but it does create a bit of a mess and other issues and a little chaos. So we're hoping for something a little smoother this time around.
So a little fun fact that I just heard in the newspaper, I don't know if it's true or not, but now they say that sunblock or suntan lotion can cause cancer too. So if you put it on, you can get it. If you don't put it on, you can get it. I don't know what the answer there is. And I don't think that was done by the Suntan Association, but just a little information. I don't know. Well, anyway, I guess wear a hat. That's the best answer. So. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy this beautiful weather. And again, several of us, I'm not going to stay by. I don't want to pass along if I'm getting anything here, but I know a lot of the staff are here. And if you have any questions, please stop them and ask them. So.
Thanks for the ramp.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. Thank you very much.